Broadcasting from Slough. Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
If you are a snooker fan, a massive welcome to you, because this is episode 147 of the Atom Radio Best Bits podcast. And even if you're not a snooker fan, hello, you're equally welcome. It is Mark Denholm from Breakfast on Atom Radio with the best bits of this week's breakfast show. And there's a mixed bag this week, including flop gear, also including a case of mistaken identity, annoying memories of school days, and colour blindness tests, which I always failed, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out there. We found out even what it is that is banned from a beach, and you wouldn't believe it. Also, we looked at the influence social media has had on, apparently, ordinary people. Plus, we asked the question, what makes you weird? All because I had my cereal dry and drunk a glass of milk with them. All that and more on the way on the Best Bits of Atom Radio podcast, episode 147. Settle back and enjoy.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Morning, 6:45. You got Mark Denholm on Atom Radio playing the music you want to hear. Simon Cowell is developing a new car show to rival Top Gear following the acts of the X Factor, and he's eyeing up potential talent to take part. Simon, got the grand tour ready for that. I would just save your effort and do something else instead. Mind you, the BBC could also save their effort and just crack on allowing the grand tour to do car shows.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
And we greet Richard Brown, Bachelor of Science with honours. On Friday, I did get an email reference Brown's Banger. We do Brown's Banger every Friday, which is an anthemic tune which we come out the 7 o'clock news with, right? And it's called Brown's Banger because Richard is called Richard Brown. And I got an email on Friday which says, you do give Richard Buskons, Buskons, some absolute stick, but I do love Brown's Banger. And I told Richard about this because I thought it was quite funny. And he said, I'd like you to put out a correction on Monday. So before we actually greet Richard, we must just correct officially the fact that Richard's name on his birth certificate is Brown. Buskons is BSc HONS, his qualification, because he is actually a verified sports scientist, you know. But yes, Richard Brown, and hence why it's called Brown's Banger. Otherwise it would be Buskons Banger, would it not? But anyway, we've done the correction. Now we can greet him. Morning, Richard. Making his way to work this morning along the M3, probably as we speak, driving at a sensible speed with also fuel economy in mind. I shared last week my fuel economy, which had reached a heady 18.0 miles per gallon. Richard then comes back about 20 minutes later with a screenshot of his at 78 miles per gallon. No one likes to show off, do they?
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
14 to 8, a transgender parent has caused some controversy, saying they will not reveal their child's gender, allowing the child to pick their own gender by the time they're 3. You can easily do that if you just look downstairs while having your nappy changed.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
But first, today we're asking you if you could go back in time and claim the credit for any invention. What invention would you go back in time and claim as your own? On air at atomradio.co.uk. And I'm pleased to say, in the first few emails as well, nobody has claimed sliced bread, because that expression, everybody always says, oh, you know, like Mark, he's the best thing since sliced bread, or, you know, like whatever is the best thing since sliced bread, making it seem that there is nothing better than sliced bread. I mean, it's not really that difficult, is it, to be fair? Like, somebody came up with the idea of cutting slices in bread before you wrap it. Not even that difficult, is it? But anyway, this morning I'm asking you, what would you want to get the credit for inventing if you possibly could? Morning, Mick. Very, very, very clever, Mick. Love your email this morning. Morning, Marky. If I could, I would want to either invent the iPhone or Windows. Not specifically because they are great inventions, but because of the bank balance that Steve Jobs had and Bill Gates has. And that's a very, very fair point, Mick. Like, if you can invent something like that, you know, Steve Jobs did not pass away a poor man, did he? Bill Gates does not live as a poor man, and it's just the way it is, isn't it? Like, you know, everybody knows as well who's Microsoft? Bill Gates. Who invented the iPhone? Steve Jobs. Everybody knows that as well. You would go down in history, Mick, forever, as well as your bank balance going up massive, massive, massive amounts. Well done to you.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Mark Denholm at Breakfast, Tuesday morning, Atom Radio, online, on mobile, on smart speaker. A book has been published of those colour tests that test whether you're colour blindness, the dots and that. I could never, ever, ever do them at school, as a child. Therefore, I must be colourblind. But I can honestly say, if somebody gave me one of those books, it would be instantly re-gifted.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio at 5 minutes to 9 o'clock. Morning, welcome to Tuesday. Asking you today, if you could travel back in time and invent anything, what would you claim as your own? This from Ken is very clever. I would want to go back and just invent anything that James Dyson has invented, because look at him, he's loaded, and all of his products are all overpriced. Well, that's your opinion, Ken, although I must admit, like some of them, the Dyson vacuum is a lot more expensive than other branded vacuums. The Dyson air purifier is quite expensive, and that thing that apparently blows out cold air, that's not an air conditioner, that's quite expensive as well. Yeah, do you know what, Ken? You may have a point.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Senior firefighter wins more than 40 grand after he was sacked for calling his boss a buffoon. If your boss is a buffoon, you should be allowed to say that. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Morning, Suzanne. A shortage of milk would be a disaster in our house. My son drinks milk like it's going out of fashion. We have milk in our tea and our coffee and on our cereal as well. And that would be a shortage that would be a disaster for us. Do you know what, Suzanne? Like, I love milk, and yeah, I do need it for my tea. But as someone that's fueled by tea, I would therefore say milk or tea it would be for me. That would be a complete disaster. Although I don't like it on my cereal, I always have to have my cereal dry. I may have a glass of milk with my cereal, but I would always have my cereal actually dry itself.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
8:17, morning then, Thursday. This is Mark Denholm at Breakfast on Atom Radio on Friday Eve, if you want to look at it that way. Can someone please tell me when it is that Love Island finishes? Because I notice people are still discussing Love Island. I mean, how long can you watch a bunch of nobodies on an island doing it like they do it on the Discovery Channel? Surely it has to be coming to an end soon, doesn't it?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
But first, your emails. We ask you today. Nando's announced yesterday the closure temporarily of 50 restaurants due to a shortage of chicken supplies. I'd imagine probably to divert the available chickens to the most profitable restaurants. But anyway, that's by the by. I ask you, what would there be a shortage of for it to be a problem for you? Morning to Vicky. Vicky says, if there was a shortage of tobacco, that would be an absolute disaster. Do you know what, Vicky? There's going to be some that will say, no. However, I agree with you. While it may seem a little bit silly, if you are addicted to tobacco, then a shortage of tobacco would be a catastrophe for you. I started smoking at 12. Probably one of the worst things that I did in my life was started smoking at 12, and I did give up for 8 years, and then I started smoking again 3.5 years ago now, and I've smoked ever since. One of the worst things, one of the worst decisions I ever made. And do you know what, Vicky? I agree with you 100%. If you are a smoker, then shortage of nicotine would be absolutely horrible. You'd be climbing the walls, wouldn't you?
Mark Denholm.
If you are planning on going to Bournemouth Beach, I would suggest that you take your own chair. Bournemouth has banned deck chairs on the beach because people might use them as weapons. What the hell is that all about? Seriously, if you go on the beach sunbathing and that, are you seriously thinking, yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to pick up a chair and attack someone with it? I mean, surely not. That would be beyond belief. But there you go. Forget all that. It is Mark Denholm, loud, proud, standing out from the crowd. Sit on whatever you want while you listen to this.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Importantly, it's National Radio Day. Thumbs up for you if you are listening today. And also today is National Bacon Lovers Day. Now, if somebody is passing by Atom Radio HQ and wants to drop in a bacon sandwich, bacon well done, lashings of brown sauce, I'd be a happy chappy.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Coming up, news is on the way as well. In the news, Health Secretary Sajid Javid is confident that COVID booster jabs will begin next month. Confident, that is. And under pressure, Dominic Raab ignores calls to quit. What does he do? Poses for a photo. Yeah, back in the Foreign Office, poses for a photo at his desk. Like, you know, this whole social media influencer thing has brought about this culture, hasn't it? Dominic Raab could be doing things. Instead, he gets somebody on his staff to say, excuse me, people think I do no work. Could you take a picture of me at my desk? Speaking of social media influencers, the lady I know, who is just an ordinary bird from Bracknell, yesterday posted a picture of a vase and says, should I A, clean it, B, leave it as it is, or C, upscale it? I asked Richard this yesterday and he said, put some flowers in it. And he's got a good point. That's what vases are for.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Yesterday, I revealed something that caused somebody to call me weird, and that is that I have my cereal dry. I'll have a glass of milk with my cereal, but no milk on the cereal. I have them dry. And that caused somebody to call me weird. This morning, I asked you, let's be open and let's be honest, one thing about you that would cause people to call you weird in like a fun kind of way, on air at atomradio.co.uk.
atomradio.co.uk.
I don't particularly know that I am weird for not having milk on my cereal. And the other thing I don't like as well is, you know, when people dunk their biscuits. Number one, I don't like crumbs in my tea. So if somebody else was to dunk their biscuits in my tea, I'd be very unhappy because then there would be crumbs in my tea. But also, I don't like soggy biscuits. If I'm having a rich tea, I'd like it to be crisp, not soggy. And the same with any biscuit. Therefore, I wouldn't dunk it in tea or milk or anything because, well, just why? Why do you want a soggy biscuit? I don't get it. It's just not me. But there you go. Apparently, my friends think I'm weird because I don't have milk on my cereal. If that's the only thing I'm weird for, then I'm doing okay. Thank you for checking out the podcast, episode 147. You know what that means? We move on. As my friend John from up north would say, onwards we march. It'll be episode 148 next week. And of course, you can catch the show live Monday to Friday, 6 until 10 on atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, Radio Box Streamer, Smart Speaker, and as always, iTunes Radio.
Atom Radio. Ooh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
Thank you for listening to episode 147. Do me a little favour and subscribe in your favourite podcast app, and you'll get notified when next week's episode goes live.
Atom Radio.